everyone, it's Kristen Redman, and today we're going to be going over the planetary influences that are going to be around us this week, December 6th through the 12th. One of the main things that's going to be happening this week is that Mercury, our planet of communication, is going to be going into that sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is an earth sign, so it's very practical, it's very grounded. So when you put the two together, you take our communication, which is, of course, our ability to think, our ability to speak, our ability to communicate with others. And it also represents how quickly we receive things. We are going to take that into a sign that's very practical, like Capricorn. And what that brings us is increased concentration. It's going to bring us a lot more logical communication with those that are around us. We're going to be practical. We're going to be to the point. We're going to be orderly. There's going to be no nonsense conversation that's going on. And I already see that type happening. Even though Mercury is not transiting into Capricorn until the 9th, I already see its effects now. And it's interesting because just in the past 2 days, I've talked to many people that have said the same thing. This Christmas, I am going to be a lot more practical. I'm not going to spend all this money. I'm not going to buy all these presents for the grandkids like I normally do, because that's not really what matters. It's the value of one another. And that's such an earth sign type thing. It's assessing value to things that are more than just monetary. It's that internal value, that relationship value. So I can already see the effects of it coming through. And that's kind of what that represents, that Mercury in Sagittarius. It's just a lot more logical thinking. Let's set some practical and realistic goals. And because of that, this is one of the best times of year to really, when you're in that, when Mercury is in that sign of Capricorn or any type of earth sign, really to logically think about what it is you want your goals to be, how you want to set your future, how you want to prioritize those goals. And the wonderful thing about that is on the 11th this week, we're going to be going into the new moon phase. And those of you that have watched my previous videos know how that new moon type thing works. But for those of you that haven't watched it, I'll do it really quickly here. Like the moon to me represents a glass. It can either be full or it can either be empty. And right now, going into that new moon phase, that's when it's empty. New moon is a totally empty glass. And we fill it up with our spiritual water. Our spiritual water is going to be just like the element of water represents. It's our emotions, it represents our relationships, and it represents our intuition that we have. So when we have this empty glass of the moon, what we do is we take our gunk and we fill that up in that glass. We take the emotions that we don't need, we put it in there. We put our good emotions and hopes in there also. This is something I want. I've used my practical Capricorn Mercury combination of planning and logical, realistic goals, and I'm putting that into this moon. I'm putting my relationship issues, my hopes and dreams for a new relationship, I'm putting that into that new moon. And then slowly, over the course of that next couple of weeks, as we get a little bit of sliver or more light every night, as it gets gradually bigger and fuller into that full moon, it becomes illuminated with all those possibilities that we've put into it. And then it's able to disperse that out to us. We're able to receive those blessings, or at least get that ball rolling to receive those blessings. And so it's a perfect time to do that. It's a wonderful time. And not only do we have all of that energy, but our moon, where it's going to be at that time, is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is a sign that really wants to explore the truth of a situation. So we're really able to explore internally and externally our situation, see what it is that logically we can change, put it in that moon, and then hope for it and have faith. That's the hard part, right? Is having that faith that it's going to come through to us. We've got to trust our intuition, and we've got to hold on to that faith that good things are coming for us. Now, with that, that's exactly what kind of reading I want to do today. Is the new moon really what happens when why they call it a new moon is it's totally dark. You look outside and there's no moon. You're like, where did it go? It's kind of hidden. It's hidden actually behind the sun. So we've got this they call it a conjunction. They're not opposite each other. They're literally right on top of each other. And just like in an eclipse, it's kind of that same idea. One gets blackened out. There's this little space that's between the two that's the unknown. And I correlate that with the sun, which represents our outer self, and the moon, which represents our inner self, our emotions. So we've got our action and our knowledge. We know intuitively what we need to do, and then we take that and we get the wheels moving, and we get that momentum going, and we get action. That's how those two work together. That's how we get that masculine feminine balance. Now, in the time where the two are conjunct, literally right on top of each other, and they seem like they're one entity, you know there's a space that's between those two. What's hidden between that space, you know? And that's exactly what I want to focus on today for us. I'm going to ask for the angels to come in and tell us what we need to be on the lookout. What is hidden between our external and internal self right now? And how can we use that best in this new moon phase to benefit us? So what I do is I shuffle the remaining cards and see what that message is. I feel 4 is what they're telling me. So I'm going to shuffle that 4 times and we'll see what the message is. Yeah. Wow. Last one, man. Okay. Okay. It's the renewal card. Okay. Now, the archangel that's represented in this card is the Archangel Jeremiah. And they say that he's the angel that comes to us at the end of our life and helps us review. You know, when people say life flashed before my eyes, that's exactly what this angel does. He's the one that shows you everything in your life and helps you to review it step by step. And you don't have to be on death's door to have Jeremiah come through and help you to evaluate your life, see where things maybe go wrong, pinpoint where things have gone right, but mostly the things that need to be fixed. And what a perfect angel to come through to give us guidance between that inner and outer self. If we can't see it ourselves, if you're having issues trying to figure out how do I make this relationship better, how do I find this new relationship, how do I get out of this financial situation, how do I move past this grief, whatever it is, you fill in that blank. Those issues that we're consistently stuck on, you can't figure out how to get out, he's the one that's going to help you, okay? Because he is like this beacon of light right here that shows you the entire picture, okay? He also helps you remember past life issues too. So sometimes when we're having these reoccurring issues in our life that have happened since we were a kid, it's because it's something that we've brought in from a previous lifetime that we need to work on. He's going to help you realize that too. He brings those answers in dreams. He can bring them in these flashes of intuition. There's people that literally will have their eyes roll back in their head and they go into this Neverland world, and that's where he literally will show them their life and where they need to make the changes they need to. Literally what this card says is review and evaluate a favorable assessment of the facts. How great is that? Like practical, right? With our Mercury. And it's time to move in a new direction, and that's exactly what we're trying to do with this new moon. We want new things. We want these new beginnings. How do we get those, though? We have to change some things from our past. We have to change whatever's consistently keeping us stagnant now. We have to change it. So he's going to help us review that. And so it's a wonderful card to get this renewal that we need, and it's perfect timing for the new moon, for those cycles. I love it that we've got the water and the tides, which are, of course, if that's what's affected by the moon affects the cycles of our tides and the ebb and the flow and how they create our landscapes and how they create us too. People don't really give it enough credit for that, and that's exactly what this means. I'm going to pull an emotion card with this also, and one of my stones, just to really drive home an extra feeling that they want to give us with this, just besides really reviewing and evaluating what we need in that new moon. So let's do 3, Yeah. Okay, 1. All right. Okay. Quest. And I love it because she's also in this type of purple that's very similar to what we've got, there we go, going on with Jeremiah right now. The quest represents literally that path of life that we're going to be taking. We've got the past, we've got the future, and we have to go with this innocence just like a child, right? Following that guidance that they're giving us to really achieve what it is that we want. We're going to have that. I'm going to pull a rock too. They're pulling me to my rocks. I have not showed you my rocks, everyone. I'm just going to take the camera. Here we go. Woo! This is my rock box. This is where I pull intuitively whatever stone. I have certain angels that are applied to each one, certain emotions, certain healing properties. So right now I'm going to ask them, as we're going on this quest, we're reviewing and evaluate what's between that inner self and outer self. Who is it that's really going to be working with us besides Jeremiah? What's going to be working with us besides Jeremiah? And I'm going to ask for him to bring that stone. I just feel my fingers start prickling. I know that's when I've reached it. So and here it is. How ironic. Okay, so we've got an amethyst. It doesn't really look very purple in the light there. It's an amethyst. And this one I actually attribute to the Archangel Michael, who's been around consistently this weekend with a lot of people I've worked with. Michael is the angel that helps you on your life path. So how perfect. All of these things, life path. We're reviewing our path. Archangel Michael keeps you safe on that path too. Not only does he help you with your life purpose, but he keeps you safe too. So know that he's around you, keeping you safe. Know that Jeremiah's around you, giving you that chance to really review in a logical way. And know that everybody around you, whether they're living or deceased, their energy and love surrounds you also at this time. And I wish you all a wonderful week. And I look forward to doing another reading for you next week. Goodbye.